So, welcome to Daily Practice with Nikhil, where mindfulness and real world meet. So, today I want to talk about change, growth, and renewal as changing of the seasons. Have you ever stood under a tree in autumn and felt like something inside you also was ready to let go? So, today we are exploring the seasons, not just the ones outside our windows, but the ones inside your life. So here's a gentle reminder of the seasons. The seasons within. Begin again. The past was only soil. With trembling shoots and sky-wide eyes, we rise from buried toil. You are light, burn bold, grow fruit, sweat joy, dance gold. But even in the blaze, we long for cool shades hold. Let go, dear one, beauty fades with grace. Leaves fell like past versions of self. Each one found its place. In stillness, roots speak truer things. And in that frost-kissed hush, we dreamt of spring. So what season are you in right now? Are you in your spring, the season of starting? Are you in your summer, the season of expression? Are you in the autumn, the season of letting go? Or are you in the winter, the season of stillness? So we often wait for the right time to begin. And what does that mean? What is right time? But what if readiness comes after the start? Have you ever thought about doing something and then waiting for the opportune moment, but then you didn't find the opportune moment, but then you started anyway and then found yourself you were okay? So this right time to begin is kind of a fallacy. It doesn't really happen. Any time to begin is the right time to begin. So maybe asking yourself what in your life wants to be born. Someone who I've been working with has actually started learning guitar, and they have been slightly like they've not been doing guitar for about 40 years, so they start to pick it up now. And that is what I call starting anyway. Then I play in a band and with their grandkids, and that's how amazing it is. So my point is we can pick up things at any stage in our lives. So the season of starting is never late to be what you want to be. It's just that we don't sometimes know what we want to be. So if we get the clarity of what we want to be or what we are, that's where we can make the best change possible. So how does that reflect with you? Maybe think about the right time for you. Maybe think about any things you may have done in the past. Bring to mind all those projects, fulfilled, unfulfilled, that you're waiting to start. Maybe you are like that person who I work with, want to start a guitar practice. Maybe you are that person who wants to start that new hobby. So we are seasonal beings, even in a world of deadlines and whatnot, emails and smartwatches. There's a quiet rhythm underneath. The one we share with the trees and the tides and the time itself. So let us understand this season of spring a bit more. Spring is energy is powerful, and what I would classify it as is like some sort of a hope, a vulnerable hope. It's not certainty, it's courage. We often wait until we feel sure, but real growth happens when we just do it anyway. Spring doesn't ask the seed if it's qualified, it trusts timing and light. So, if you are in the spring season, asking yourself what small beginning is whispering you to you right now, it is saying something. And if we are still enough, we are able to hear it. What are you holding back because you don't feel ready? So start where you are, use what you have, do what you can. And as we move into the summer, the season of full expression, it's about energy, expansion, expression, but also about staying true in the heat. Summer in life is when we feel alive a bit more, productive, in motion, because the world is open for us to do a lot more things. As our ancestors used that time to create wonderful crops and like started to move around and learn new things, it can sometimes come with what we call an overdrive. We can lose our why in the rush to perform. And we glorify busy without asking, is it meaningful? In summer, the fruits are visible, but not everything grows. And whatever grows, not everything is nourishing too. So think about alignment. So if you are in a phase where you are expressing yourself and you are enjoying your moment and are able to perform, then you can consider yourself in the summer of your season. And what's flourishing in your life right now? Are you chasing external recognition or living from inner fulfillment? Where are you feeling burnt out? And what might that be telling you? And there's a thing you can just reflect on is success without soul wasn't success at all. And don't confuse movement with progress. So if you are in the summer season, or if you consider yourself in a zone of expression, I invite you to ask yourself, how can I be more in alignment with where I want to go or with where I am? And as we look into the autumn or the fall, the season of letting go, autumn is where growth becomes wisdom. It's where we learn the sacredness of letting go. We think endings are failures sometimes, but they are intelligent evolution. Thinking about failures as evolving changes the perspective. That means we have to change in order to grow. And letting go is not a weakness, it's a strategy for alignment. We have to shed those things from the past for new things to grow. Otherwise, we just get heavier and heavier and heavier because we carry everything. So, in nature, you see leaves fall to make way for new leaves, new buds. And in us, old versions have to let go to make space for the newer version. And in that, mindfulness helps us notice when we are clutching out a habit of or fear. And clutching out of habit or fear is something we can let go. So you may ask yourself, what version of you is ready to be released? What version of you is ready to be released? What no longer reflects your values, your purpose, your truths? And as often as you can, where can you say no more lovingly? So these are reflections, these are thoughts you can incorporate in this season of your life if you are in that area where you are transforming and you are changing. And one client let go of a business partnership that had become really toxic for them. It hurt them. And what they had to do is they were working with me to understand how we can change the relationship between ourselves and something we built. And for me, that was really difficult because there are some things which I built. If you ask me, would I let it go? I will find it very difficult. But when we are in alignment with ourselves and where we want to go, the things which don't fall into that become less attached. So in that instance, when that business partnership is not working out, we worked on something called finding alignment, true alignment of what it means to be you. Once you get that, once you understand, okay, this is who I am, then suddenly, all of a sudden, a sense of peace, a sense of calmness arises. That, yeah, okay, this might not be something which I want to hold on to. And that helped her to actually let go of that business and start to work on her own projects. So this is why I think it's important to understand that, yeah, the seasons can overlap. It doesn't have to be that you are just in one season of life. You can be in different seasons at the same time. Or you can have different seasons for different aspects of your life. You may be in your summer for your relationships, but then there is a little bit of a letting go needed in your career. Maybe there is a little letting go in your hobbies. There's so many options, so many ways you can think of. The underlying concept I want us to really gather is that change, embracing change, or noticing change, or becoming really curious about change. So, sometimes holding on does more damage than letting go. And then, as you think you may be in the winter season, you may be in the winter season while actually externally it is the summer season. This can happen, and vice versa. You may be really in a summer expansive state of being in winter. So, this is not about external versus internal. This is more about understanding the concept of seasons and what it means. The season of the winter for me is a season of stillness and inner work. I think it is more prominent in Western cultures where there is this real divide between winter and summer, where winters are really cold and dark, whereas in the Eastern cultures or like in South Asia, I think the difference between winter and summer is different. So there's many other seasons there. There's a rainy season, there's a monsoon, etc., etc. So we have to be careful when we talk about seasons. true alignment. So I think it's important to understand the true alignment with yourself. So winter here for me is silent. It's reflective. It's where I think I start to grow, or I start to practice things which may be useful in other seasons, like compassion, like acceptance, like being grateful, like being happy with whatever is happening around us. And winter, often people say, oh, it's miserable. And I do not like to use that word, because why would it be miserable i- even if it is doing something for us? It is not miserable because it is something which is really difficult. It is because we associated that feeling of the season, or the feeling or the sensations of that season, to be miserable. But the sensations can be easily opposite of miserable, can be enhancing, can be life affirming, can be beautiful. And that's where I think it is very important to understand that winter energy sometimes is very judged. It's often labeled like, oh, we are all lazy during winter, but it's essential. I also think it's where the inner roots strengthen. It is where clarity arises. We are lucky to have these seasons so that we can then define these seasons to whatever things we have. But in certain countries, the seasons are like not as delineated. So wherever possible, yeah, be kind to yourself. This is where we start to grow those roots, start to grow those compassion roots for ourselves, and making our value more important than our productivity. And in winter, or season of winter, is an integration. So we are including all aspects of our life. And this could be difficult things. And stillness doesn't mean stagnation. Stagnation is when we do nothing and we look back and we say, okay, 6 months ago, what was I doing? And 6 months from now, what am I doing? Is there any change? No, that is stagnation. But if we are doing something, if we are integrating our emotions, if we are working on projects, if we are including our mind as part of our body, that's where progress is formed. So, where can you allow more pause in your life? Where can you allow more pause? What happens when you be with silence instead of avoiding it? Can you embrace rest as a form of resilience? So, these are the questions you can think about in the winter of your life. So, to conclude this whole practice, I would invite you to do a 5-minute guided meditation with me called Embracing Your Inner Season. So, let's breathe together now. Wherever you are, just settle. Allow your face and hands to soften, your shoulders to drop. Closing your eyes if that feels safe to do so. Take a deep breath in and gently release. And to visualize this changing of inner seasons, imagine you are in a forest. With each step, you feel the presence of a different season around you. Inhale spring, Notice the scent of newness, the light touch of hope. What is beginning in me now? And as you exhale summer, feel the glow, the heartbeat, the confidence. Where am I shining and where am I burning out? Inhale autumn. See the golden leaves. Feel the freedom of letting go. What am I ready to release with love? And exhale winter. Listen to the hush, the wisdom in the pause. What truth is resting beneath the surface, waiting for life and light? So I invite you to take one deep breath in, pause at the top for 3, 2, 1, and let go. And I invite you to affirm this. I am exactly where I need to be. My inner season is sacred. I am exactly where I need to be. My inner season is sacred. Slowly returning to the room, gently wiggling your fingers, gently opening your eyes if they were closed. And you don't need to be controlled by the seasons, or you don't need to control the seasons. This practice was about recognizing the one you may be in the phase of life you are in, and to honor it. So my invitation to you today is this. Ask yourself, what season in me today? And respond with compassion. Align your actions with your energy. And this daily practice isn't about perfection, it's about progress. And the beautiful truth is, no season stays for long. But every one of them in its time brings you closer to who you are. So thank you for being part of this daily practice with me, Nikhil. May you walk through your day with mindfulness, strength, and deep trust in your unfolding. Thank you.